that. Maybe I was too early. Maybe it's not that nice. It could be better. But I will do color on it in with the primary colors. So I have 6 pieces of them with the rainbow colors. So we have a series of 6 with rainbow colors. Easter rabbit. This is the first in concrete now. First I did this in resin. They are all brown. I have lots of them, and they are chocolate brown. It was really beautiful because if you see it on an oven, it don't melt. Or maybe you know these Easter rabbits?
Oh yes, chocolate.
Is
Chocolate
this international?
Easter. Yes,
for
I
Easter?
think so.
And this in
Yes.
chocolate. This was, oh, where is the chocolate one? We don't have a chocolate one here now. But I tried now to make the autograph on it, and now I will paint it. I like it. It's not nice. It's not bad, and they are good to sell for food.
So do you want to start by sharing, by talking about one of your, like you talked about your solo practices. When did you first start making solo outdoor performance practice?
Finally, I started to do performance, maybe also before art school, but I don't know that is performance. But at art school, I know Monika Günther, finally first Rudi Schill, and Monika Günther as well. And they are my masters. And I found an idea to express myself. I was in young times, I was in the theater. We did Christmas theaters, like the fairy tale from Christmas. Once I was, I think, the brother from Alibaba or something. He was, no, or the uncle. He was dying. I was dying in the theater. It was nice. And then in the apprentice of as a architectural draftsman, we had courses for theater, and I was in a theater for improvisation. We did improvisation theater, and I think then I did my first performance, because one exercise was take a sheet of paper and do something. And so we have to sit there and, oh, sheet of paper, okay, what I have to do. And then in art school I realized, okay, this is what I like, because in art school it was heavy, because in the first 2 years you get tools bashed in your head, tool for animation, painting, this, and after that I don't know what I want to keep, and I have to throw away what I don't want to have. I come from sketching and from painting. This is still here. I'm always a painter, also if I do performance. For me it's important to have to always have the whole view of the picture, of the image that I bring to the audience. This is important, but this is still here. Maybe with the others we wait to open. Maybe it's better to let it in a day more. And so
just going back to this idea of your solo performance practice, and when you started doing it for yourself, just these quiet, outdoor experiences. Can you share, like, maybe do you have like a little story about one of those that you did that was a bit of an aha moment for you?
I think so. We speak after that cycle of art. This that I do now is the second. I did it also a first one. I stopped to paint and I began to write. I did optical poems or draw it or typed sketches. And I was going out with a typewriter. And this was 20 years ago. Typewriter always don't, children don't know what is a typewriter. But I connect the typewriter with keyboards from computers, with different keyboards. And I have postcards, and I typed short messages. As we know, 20 years ago, we can make short messages with 160 types. And I made blocks of 160 types. And I wrote what I saw instead of doing sketches. I was sitting in public space and I wrote what I saw, and then I put it on the keyboard. The keyboard just was a stand to keep the postcards. And the audience, they are interested, they can read it and read what I wrote. Because I don't speak with him. Normally I don't speak with people when I'm working, when I do performance, because otherwise the concentration is gone, the presence is gone. And so this was, I think, the first time that I did it in this way. And so I was visiting a friend in Freiburg, for example, in Germany, and I bring my typewriter with me and my keyboards, and I was sitting in Freiburg and typing what I want to type. So this can be the first time that I do this. Or then when I go to other cities or other countries, so I like to use the space. If the space gives me an idea to do something, I have to do it, because I have to do art. It doesn't matter which kind of art, but if I can do it, I'm well. If I can't do it, I'm not well. And this is important for me. So we was in Rome, for example, my girlfriend and me, we was visiting a good friend of us, and we was circling around the city, and I saw the Colosseum. Then I know, okay, I have to circle around the Colosseum in somehow. Then I know, okay, I need 3 books. And I was creating I call it Dreischritt, 3-step. So I have 3 books, and always the book from behind I bring in front and stand on it. Then I bring the next in front, I stand on it. Tuck, tuck, tuck. And so I was walking around the Colosseum with 3 books about the ancient story of Italy. And this work called Camminare sulla Storia. It means walking on history. And my girlfriend and the friend was making photos and waiting for me. I have 1.5 hours to circle the Colosseum. After that, my girlfriend give me a painkiller. Go take a painkiller, so we have to visit the city. Because my back was for sure broken in this moment. So, but then we have to visit the city. Or I go always to Italy. Since I was 1 year old, I go to the same camping in Tuscany with my grandparents. So I have loads of friends. My Italian is also much more better than my English. So I have a good friend in Rome, and he is a sailor. And he gave me from a parachute to a great piece of parachute, what I can use as a sail. And so I began to bring this sail with me. The sail I can put on the head and take it on the hand. And so I can sail. I'm standing somewhere, up on a hill or somewhere. And if the wind is coming, I can help the world turning. No, I'm not, so I call it, but the rock is not moving, because I'm on a rock in the middle of the sea. and this rock is not moving, but I help the world moving. So this is an idea of philosophical stuff. So this is so nice because it gets so nice images with this sail. It's a white sail, and in the back you have the blue sky, or what the other ones. I did it in France, in the south of France. I was with my friend, with my best friend there. His family go every year there, and at this season the wood, the forest was burning. Everything was burning. So this was an amazing view to go there. This is the trees burned, the ground is burned, and we was joking with the chalk, not chalk, the
Charcoal.
carbon,
Charcoal.
burned wood,
Yes,
and
charcoal.
make us black. I come with my white clothes as normal, and we joked, we played with that. And first, I also do sailing, and we have so nice photos about it. It's beautiful. Second nice photos. First is so nice to feel the wind in the arms or at the head. And sometimes you have to let go because the wind is too fast. I'm not in a sailing boat. So if I'm standing, once in Thailand, I was there was rocks that is it's not stings, it's not round, the rock, but it can hurt. So I was without feet, without shoes, and then if I'm not standing good, if the wind is blowing too fast, I have to move my feet, and then I will break or I will scratch my
Yes.
feet. So I have to let go the sail. So as a sailor, do it if the wind is blowing too fast.
You mentioned that you always wear white.
Yes.
You know, do you want to talk about why that is in your performances? Because I think that's like part of your visual aesthetic as well.
Yeah, but I think most of us started in black. If we are thinking about clothes, and for me as a painter, I want to give an image. So for me, first it was black, and then I realized, we can see it now. If I walk there, if you have this white, it's much better the contrast. If I wear black, I don't have this contrast. Or if the sun is here, it makes reflection. Maybe I get some green from the plants around. Or then, as you can see here, the white is also like a canvas. I can use my clothes to paint on it, or to count something, or like in French with this chalk. What?
Charcoal. Yes.
I was lying on the floor, then everything gets black or something, dirt, or the face is black, and this makes a nice contrast. Even in this burned wood, white is that much better for me than black. If I was wearing black there, no one sees me. It gives a nice contrast.
So, do you want to talk about the performance that you did in Lucerne at the
Start to make a new tea.
That would be lovely.
A new tea for Karen and Dominic.
And what tea is this?
This is a yellow tea. It's called Huang Da Cha. And it's a nice one. First we drank a Lung Jin, but maybe we are too old. Now I was speaking and working, you see. It's not good doing two things together, because yours is not that full like mine now, but we can do the next one. Green tea, for me, it makes me more fresh. But now we have 6:30 and we want to sleep once today.
Cheers, cheers. So, you know, thinking about your, you know, the markings on your white clothes, you created, you know, you're using a you're using a number system to mark this repetitive action that you did for 5 hours. It was a durational performance. Do you want to talk about, you know, maybe why you did that, and maybe, you know, what came out of the meaning of the performance for you that you feel comfortable sharing?
You know, this performance is calling Vergegenwärtigung der Gegenwart. Gegenwart means presence, and vergegenwärtigen means making the present, or to make see the presence. So it's like a wordplay. So to make present the present. And to do that, as you saw, I walked back and always tuck. I throw out the bucket with water, take new one, and then I make it, no, before I take the new one, I make a mark. And it's quite simple, just because it's wondering myself how many times I was going forward and backward. And then we can see that I have 353 times walked back, walked each day, each way, and we see 353 times the present that was presented in somehow, because this is 2 canals of water, and this is the same water. It's one system of water. So some call it Sisyphus, what I did. But as we do often in performance, we do often Sisyphus stuff, and we like it. As also, I like really to do loads of time the same thing. It's like meditation, and we love it. This is why we do it. And we see, now what I like to do the same thing also to get developed the thing even more and more and more. So I have the traces, the water fall out a bit of the bucket, and I stand in, and then I see the traces of my feet. And so I see, okay, I can use the same traces, but I don't use the same. I just did the same, because after 353 times, or maybe after 10 times, I begin to see how it comes good, how I have my steps, and they are always the same. And this is what I like. So I can, at one point, I like to put always the same step into the same step, so I can keep the traces nice. And maybe you can show this photo from upstairs that we see in the documentation, or I can show you here where it is. Can we see it like this? So you can see the trace. It's always the same.
Yes, and so that makes me think about movement, and you talked about how movement is so important in your work.
Like moving around the Colosseum. It gives me the first idea of this 3-step. And I like ways of moving instead of just walking, or moving with buckets. I like. Once I did in Italy at my beach where I go always. It was a performance calling Hot Sand, because on midday or after 12 the sand becomes too hot to walk on it. This is why you always running. If you have a long beach, you have to search the shadows to make a break, and then, oh, where's the water, and go again. So I took 3 buckets full of seawater and have my feet in 2, and always this one back I bring in front and can stand again inside, and then the back again, this bucket back again in front, and so on and on and on, till I arrived at some point where I decided, then I put all this water on me and I began to throw sand in the air, and I get like a sand sculpture. If I was full of sand, I was walking in the sea and finish. So till I was on the water, and then the performance was finished. Or in a museum in Lenzburg, it's close to my home, there was an exhibition about soap. And they asked us, we was four, Claudia Bucher, as you saw last Saturday, and Gisela Hochuli, I do works with her, and Bruno Schlatter, a good friend of mine of Aarau. We was invited there, and I also walked there with bins once, and the other time I have, how much? I think 7. I have 7 bins, no, buckets, sorry. But what bin is also bucket, no? A bin.
No,
Bin is trash.
yes.
Why I have bin, bucket? Okay, I have the 6 buckets full of water, and this one in front was empty. And so I can bring this one from back in front and fill the empty one. And put the empty one then in front. And bring this one from back in front and fill it in the empty one, the new empty one. And so I'm walking. It's nice to, you can arrange the velocity also. Sometimes we know we have a final thing at this and this clock, and so I come in a rush because I don't want to let go my system, but I have to hurry up to do it. And this is sometimes when you work in a museum where is not a festival of performance. This was it's a nice museum here, and this was the soap exhibition. So, and we know then and then we have to be there. So, but this is sometimes compromises to do if you are invited in not performance festivals. It's about differences, how you work with audience and the chief that gives you the money finally.
Yeah, and you know, I think, you know, going back to this idea of meditative practice, you know, and the buckets, you know, the empty bucket at the beginning, are all the buckets full, or are they half empty? Are they half full, or, you know, and is there, you know, after you complete this kind of, you know, action, you know, what, you know, I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing, maybe, you know, like Alistair McClellan talks about the actuation.
Actuation?
Yes, it's a new term that he uses for, and it's part of the title of the new monograph, and it's through the act of doing. Thank you, my yellow tea. Cheers.
Nice fishes. Sorry,
Through the act of the experience, you know, one's body becomes you know, actualized through the act of making.
I think this was a bad idea about this exhibition where I have to be someone there. The better example is the performance from the video that you saw. I think there is more that what you're asking me.
Right.
So there, I know 5 hours, I can let it float. This is important. Here I'm in a frame of something. But here I just know from 10 till 3 I do it. And someone tells me at some point, now Dominic is finished. Or I hear the church bells. I like the church bells because I don't wear the clock, a watch. But the church bells, you hear And you know, 1 time is a quarter, 2 times half. Yeah. And but even better is if you don't hear the church bell. And this is what I love. Sometimes, so you hear,
Like the circular action of going round the Colosseum.
yeah,
You know, this, shall we talk about, you know, this kind of concept of the circles, the circular movement? Maybe this connects to that as well.
about the cycle, you think?
Yes, yes.
Can be. It can be. Is a nice idea to come to this theme about the Colosseum. But for me, it's always about the cycle of art. So I'm also, or no, I'm just Dominic. Finally, is this? Don't call me artist. Finally, what I do can be art, or some tells me what you do is art, but it is how it is. I just have to be myself. This is for me important, and so I began to realize that I need to do what I do first, and I want to do what the process is making with me, the development. And so once 5 years ago, I realized, okay, I have too much material. I have so much paintings, and yes, I sell some, but not that much that I do. And I began to ask myself what I do with all this shit. And I see, okay, let's do something with. And I began to cut the canvas into stripes of 5 centimeters, and began to roll them into Bildrollen. I don't know, image no, but how we can tell them, image rolls, something like that. See, these are 50 centimeters in diameter. Is enough light? Yeah. And so I have, this is 5 centimeters and 200 meters of canvas, painted canvas. It makes 10 square meters. And I have made 13 of them, 130 square meters. And this is much more easier to store. So I have a tower, and there is all my paintings stored. Or then I have paintings on wood, and I saw them into stripes of 2 centimeters, and this is like a material to build new stuff. There it is, to build, for example, new performance. And here we are with moving again. So I have a socket. IKEA sockets are good for this, full of small pieces that I can lay on the floor, and I can take these pieces from back and put it in front. We are always something taking to back in front, and so I can move. Also here, in this moment, I move out of this room, and I can do this long. And then you see how it's moving the whole carpet, I say it, a moving carpet it is, that is moving.
And what date was that performance?
On
Or what year did you create that performance?
this, let me check. This, yes, this was 2018. Look at that, this is my girlfriend. Yes.
Hello.
And it was 2018, I think 2017, I began to cut my stuff. And during this cutting and making these rolls, I began to realize, or it was developing new things on it. I can also do new paintings on it, creating new paintings, and I glue them together to new paint. So I worked 20 years of painting give me now the possibility to create this stuff, even visual art or performance art.
Thinking about this kind of, meditative action and like moving forward,
Yeah.
there's a piece here where you did a roly-poly, and you call it carriola in
This is in
Italian.
yes.
Yes.
In Swiss German, it's just Heubürzu.
Haibertsu.
Heu is the
Heu.
straw, the dry wheat, not dry grass. And normally you do this, the Bürzel. Bürzel is the back of the birds. So maybe this connects somehow. And this one I call it Kopfsteinbürzel, because the floor is these stones. This is Kopfstein. It's like headstone calling. And I did the Holy Poly on the Kopfstein. Now this is the Lenzburg, the city where also Karen did performance, where we met us first time. And yes, this is also moving, but this was fast moving because this was going down, and I did 10 in a row, and then I have to stop to check where I am, to not go somewhere in. And as we know, we don't do training for a performance, and I don't accept what I'm doing. So I first tried to just go in this way with the head. But after one Holy Poly, I realized, okay, I will destroy my head. And it is enough destroyed my head, so we don't have to broke it up. So I have to protect in this way. And for sure there gives me traces of life here somehow, because it was destroyed here, but better than the head. And the nice thing was that my girlfriend that you saw before I started, she take a bucket full of water and throw it over me. And so I can stamp the water from the Holy Poly, always the back stamps on this Kopfstein. Maybe
Trace.
4 or 5 times. After that it was not dry, but it don't stamps again. So, but I like to do this. It's really nice. But this was really short. This was for maybe a minute, 2 minutes. And I was moving. This was nice.
Yeah. One thing that I really that intrigued me, that which was partly why I wanted to have this to do an artist focus with you, is that you also work as a curator of public performance.
Yep.
That's how we met. And how has how has that kind of role in creating and facilitating the space for other artists to create work, how has that influenced your own work over time?
I don't know.
Or has it...
If I create works, I go to see the space, and then the space speaks with me or lets me develop my works. Yes, they eat you. These mosquitoes around, they come out now. And I'm happy that they eat you and not normally they eat me. And then the public space I use to develop my stuff. And I like to see other performers. And I invite performers that I like to see, or even that I don't know. I think you was in Switzerland and we was connected, and then I think, okay, come and we will see. And finally, I remember myself about your performance, and I was thinking, well, finally I was going to your homepage and I saw I was blindfold at your performance, because you can see me and also my girlfriend, on your homepage, and this is why I don't remember exactly what you did there.
But the circles, there was lots of blue circles. As we create public performance, there is an unexpected encounter that we create for the random public who come across this. And as a curator of a public performance festival, you've, you know, been in the position of witnessing this for many years. You know, what do you think about, what are your thoughts about that random encounter with the public?
You mean the random audience?
Yes, yeah.
And there can be random audience and also audience that want to see us. And this is always really, really special. So because finally the random audience, they don't come here to see a performance. And first I like to show them performance, but then the reactions are different. So their reactions are even, they are wondering, and they take some time and check and look, and they are open-minded. Others are thinking, so, oh, what they is doing is stupid, or I'm also jobless, or everything that we hear. And there are differences also between country. I think this was also your question. Once I did in Istanbul a performance. In Istiklal is the main street where the shopping mile of Istanbul. And this was so nice. Normally you can't see the floor there. There's so many peoples. But I had an endless paper I was rolling on a millstone. And this endless paper maybe was 20 meters open and goes with me. And the people began to protect the sheets. There are toc toc toc, and also this long white line of this paper. And this was so beautiful because they see there is a man or a human that have to do something, and they not was asking what he is doing, just, oh, we have to protect him. He has to do something. I can imagine that if you do this here somewhere, maybe in Zurich or somewhere, the people, they will destroy your things, or you have to be protected from your performer friends because they don't let you do. So this is hypothetical, but I saw some kinds of this. Once we did in Lucerne on the bridge with a friend of mine, with Daniel Heller, I did a performance, and we was hanging fishes in this high over the bridge, and the people has to go down to go, and this was horrible for them. And bad tongues did say that we are it's our fault that it is not again allowed to do public performances there. But it's not allowed, but it's nice for us to get imagine this, that we are, yes, you know,
Instigating
or something. Yeah. This is nice. I like.
Yeah, so I think, you know, in the performance in Istanbul, you're talking about, you know, the collective like sense of community that was developed in the audience as they witnessed the work, you know, and this exchange of intimacy, you know, that happens, that can happen in a performance. You know, and, you know, I think, you know, having curated Out of Sight for many years, you know, I think it is this intimate exchange between, you know, the body of the performer and the witnessing audience, you know, the public, that, you know, it can create
the energy?
Yes. You know, it can shift or create a transformation in, I know I've witnessed it, I've felt it myself, you know, as witnessing a performance.
Do you think it makes your energy better?
Yes.
Something like that?
Yes, yes.
Maybe your presence get better? Or, you know, not the presence. You have to be present. This for me the important thing for this presence, to be really with my work. This is what I do. For sure, if someone disturbs you, how you handle with this. Once we was in Bremen, in Germany, and we did also a moving performance. We moved wood stuff, and there comes also a TV station, and they want to ask us something. They come with the microphones and blah blah blah. We don't have someone around us. Today I would say we need someone that speak with them, but then we let go this interview, we let go this chance to get in a TV, because we want to do our work. If we finish our work for that interview, we don't can come again into the work. So if I begin to speak, then it's for me is gone. And normally I don't speak in performance, because if I have to speak in performance, I'm always a little bit afraid I can make errors maybe or something. Maybe I should try, but till now I don't have the excuse to speak. So, and I like, in this case, I like performance more than do theater, because in theater you can fall, make a failure, and in performance you can't make a failure. So it's nice about Rudi Schill told the difference from performance to theater. If you have a theater and you are so nervous that it is making noise, you will glue the cup, so then it not make noise. In performance, we like if it makes this noise, and this is a nice difference for me from theater to performance. I like it. And audience helps. Audience helps for presence, concentration, for sure. I think sometimes for me myself, if I do something without audience, yeah, we can tell to the other, hey, come, let's do it in this way, and you get more again in the presence. But if audience is like an umbrella, maybe, that protects you from rain and keeps you in the presence, concentration. Can we say it like this?
Yes, yes.
No, I'm not good in that speeches in this way, but it can be something like that.
The audience it's an exchange that helps maintain one's presence.
Yes.
And focus.
Today, Microsoft Excel. And just like the name implies,
in team, you know, because somehow what I should say now. Okay, we spoke about this, so but it's about finally all you need is art. This is important. So you remember the song from the Beatles? All you need is heart. Dun, 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 dun. All you need
Need
is
is
heart.
heart.
Dun,
All
dun, dun, dun,
you
dun. All you
need
need
is
is heart.
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 All
is
you
all you need.
need.
And this is a speech from Rudi Schill, from my master, and I asked also Monika Günther if I can use it. And for me, this is so important because sometimes people don't know this. They are so ignorant about art. We know this if we sit in a restaurant or in a pub and speak. They ask us, "Oh, what you do? Oh, art. Oh, okay. Oh, yes, my uncle also do art. He paints every Sunday. Blah 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 blah." They're not interested about. Yeah, we know. So that, and for me, it's important that I try to be myself, and I find out what I'm being. So I'm not. So for me, there are artists and artists. So some want to be artists, and some others are artists. And for me, I'm the second one. So at one time, I early years, I know I was drawing, and I want to learn something with drawing. And finally, after architectural draftsman, which is drawing, I did the bricklayer, and so I can work and organize it all, and I can draw. And after that, I go to art school to develop myself. But was hard, as I told you before. These tools, and this was overwhelming with things. And after the art school, I needed 2 years to refine myself, to know what I really want to do, and finally, performance is still here. And last 2 year, I created a poem, or I realized what I really are. I don't call me artist, I call me a Dominiker. I'm a Dominiker. And I want to show you this. This is in German, and this means Dominik Lieb ist. It means Dominik Lieb is. Dominik Lieb, Dominikt. So I created a verb. It's a verb in English also. So Dominik Lieb ist, Dominik Lieb, Dominikt. He is a Dominiker. Dominik tut was tut. It means Dominik did what he is doing. Or no, Dominik do what he is doing. Something like that. Everything is floating. We know everything is floating in the air. This is also about the cycle, the whole cycle. Everything is floating. We forget to translate this good. Erzeugnisse. His things are art. Dominik versucht unabhängig. This means Dominik tries independent from his selves out to do. Dominik versucht unabhängig aus sich selbst herauszuwirken. This is like nature. No, nature becomes spontaneous, automatic, and just how it comes. And this means Dominican, natural, automatic, and spontan. And this is finally, if someone knows me, he knows what this means. And it's so beautiful to realize that you be what you be. So, and it's really hard to be what you be. Sometimes it's easier to not to be what you be, but it's always a try to do. And for me, this is the way is the target. No, but the way is not the end is the finish, but the way,
The process.
the process,
The journey.
the journey is it. And finally, I want to die and say, okay, I was Dominicing. So this is, maybe this is a good end.
Hello, and thank you all for joining us this evening. It's getting late over here in Europe, and I'm here with Dominic. So, if you have any questions for Dominic, please pop them in the chat, and we'll try and answer them briefly. Thank you, Moving Weirdly. They've said nice in the thing. I have a quick question for you, Dominic. Regarding when you were holding the sail in the wind, you know, I'm wondering what you think about. You were talking about kind of the philosophy of the action, and I was wondering what you thought about like this idea of cause and effect when we create performances. Do you hear me? Or you need to turn your mic on. Can you turn your mic on? We can't hear you.
Yes.
Or we can now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Now it's good. Great.
Now it's good.
The sailing. Yes, the sailing is beautiful because I wear this sail on my head and on my two hands, so 3 points, and I can feel the strength of the wind. And this is really, you can't feel the strength of the wind. The sailing boat is the mast, the piece that holds the sail. You feel how the boat is moving, but you can't feel the strength of the wind in your arms or in your hand. And this is what I really love. And the nice thing is also that if I'm sailing with my sail, I don't move, but I help the boat. This is my philosophical idea behind. So the world is cycling and circling, and I help to move the world. And as we know, the world is circling, but hello, Carol?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Yes, good.
Yes.
And this is what I can say about.
So we've got we've had several.
So I can bring more out of my brain.
Well, thank you for joining us here live today. And I think there's a couple of comments in the chat. Thanks for this meeting and introducing Dominic. That's from Moving Weirdly. And John G. Bome says, very grateful for the works and words. And Dagmar, thanks so much to Dominic and all your honesty. I'm so happy to have been a witness to this interview. And next week, we will be here live in conversation with B.A.J. Sharma, who will be in conversation with Ika Trinks. So please, and this will be at the same time next Saturday, and it will be the third program of an 8-week series that we're doing for Artist Focus as part of the fall 2022 edition. So thank you all for joining us today, and hope you all have a beautiful week. And thank you, Dominic, for being here with us today and for hosting me in your beautiful garden at the beginning of the week. Thank you.
And thank you, Caron. It was a really, really nice pleasure. And if someone would like to have more answers, please contact me with Facebook or with domlip@yahoo.de. So, because there is better connection than now, maybe. And I will answer your question, and I'm happy to be in contact with you. Really, really thank you.
Yes, and you can read his bio on the website. And also there is a link to his website where you can be in contact with them. So big thanks and love to you all. Good night and good afternoon.